What's up, guys, and welcome to the Council of Elders Raid Guide here in Throne of Thunder. As always, it's going to be a 25-man point of view, and I also played fire during this fight as well, during this attempt. What I would like to stress to you guys is, as always, the abilities will be scrolling above my head. So if you do want to pause the video at any point, just take a look at those so you can read them, or otherwise they're in your dungeon journal, so it's up to you either way. The big thing with this fight is, again, you do need 2 tanks. Some groups use 3 and 25 man. It's actually really easy if you have 3 and 25 man, but it's up to you. It just depends on what you're doing. The main one that you have to worry about is Frostlord Malak will put stacks on you. Once you hit 15 stacks, it stuns you. So you kind of need to switch off before that. The biggest thing that you need to understand is that most groups will do this with 2 tanks. So if you can do it with 2 tanks, do it, but it does take a little bit of coordination. The reason it takes some coordination is because of High Priestess, okay? She spawns these Blessed Lewis of Soul ads, and they will just tunnel towards the boss, tunnel towards the boss, tunnel towards the boss, and if they reach the boss, they will be healed by 5%. So it's just a pain. So you really need to kill the ads and make sure the ads never get anywhere near the boss that they're supposed to. The only other thing that how this fight works is each boss will turn all kind of shadowy. He will become empowered. What you need to do is you always need to be attacking the empowered boss. Now the reason I say that is very simple, is because you need to burn 25% of their health from the minute they become empowered, before their power reaches 100, or else they pretty much wipe the raid. So you need to tunnel your DPS into each of the 4 bosses, kind of like in a order. Okay, it's going to go kind of consecutively. Every attempt that I've seen, it's always the same order. But just keep an eye out while we're doing this fight so you guys can see exactly how we had to deal with it as well. The biggest thing you need to watch out for is, again, any ranged healers, tanks, whatever. Obviously, the sand is bad. We don't stand in sand. Every once in a while, the sand will become an ad, and we want to group those ads up, nuke them back down, but understand that once those ads die, they will become sand traps again. So you kind of want to slowly kite as they're about to die so that no one's standing in the sand as it makes the trap. Just be aware of your positioning. As always, you do want to stay spread out roughly 5 yards. The reason why is, as you can see here, what happens if you don't is, if the healers don't understand what Biting Cold does, you will sit here and you will be dead for a minute until someone decides to res you. That's just... Biting Cold is a very bad debuff. If you get it, you just run out of the raid, you get healed. Healers, you will need to use single target heals on them. They will get hit like a truck for the duration of that. He also does another ability that you actually just want to group up for, to soak, and I believe it's called Frostbite. But other than that, that's really the only two things that Frostlord Malak does. It's really not that big of a deal. Again, the other thing that you need to understand is there is a boss that charges around. Now, when he becomes, he's not tankable. Okay, and he will put a little trail on the ground. You just don't want to be in the trail. You don't want to be at the end of the trail, or he'll knock you back, cause damage. It won't one-shot you in normal mode, but it is a pain in the butt, especially if you're a DPS. It's going to mess you up no matter what you're doing. So just try not to get hit by that. But the biggest thing is when he's empowered is that when he will do his charge and then he's stunned for like 15-20 seconds. What you need to understand is that he's reflecting 50% of the damage that you do into him. So don't kill yourself. That's the biggest thing, is to do not kill yourself. You'll see later in this video when he becomes empowered, I believe I popped a combustion on him, and that was a terrible, terrible idea. So just keep that in mind, that you need to watch your own health, watch your own damage while that guy's up. Make sure that you're multi-dotting the other targets. Again, they all have their own individual health pools. So, if you feel like you've done a lot of damage to the point where you're getting low in health, maybe switch to another boss, just dot him up, or go and take a couple whacks at him, then come back when you get healed back to full. That's the biggest thing to understand, is you're kind of monitoring yourself during this fight. This fight is pretty simple that way. The High Priestess, the one who sends the ads out, when she becomes empowered, she will change her ad from the healing ad to an ad that will focus on a random raid member. You do not want that random raid member to have the ad reach him. That ad needs to be nuked down before it reaches that raid member. If you are the raid member chosen, you need to kite that thing away as far as you possibly can. That is typically why most groups will have the range deal with the ad, so that the melee, if they do get chosen when he becomes empowered, they don't get reached. You know what I mean? Like, you just have your range pretty much burn that boss down, because it's not that big of a deal. If they're smart, you can kind of time it with the timers and say, okay, it's in 5 seconds, everybody run away, and then you come back. It's up to you how you want to deal with that. Typically this fight really isn't a huge DPS check. The biggest thing is you need to be able to control the healing that the bosses are doing to themselves. You need to be able to control ads, kill those, nuke those down, and that's pretty much the whole fight, is just kind of going in succession right down the row as they become empowered, doing your thing. When you have time, multi-dot the other targets, but again, you're focusing on certain targets. They do not share health pools, and that's really the biggest thing that you need to worry about during this fight. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I forgot. I don't believe there is, but I hope you guys like this one. As always, we'll see you in the next one.